giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Steele. Boom! 54-19. Woo! I'm on my second cup of coffee, so I'm a little excited. Welcome in, Cowboys Nation. We got a lot to talk about from last night. Oh, yes, we do. That was fun. That was a lot of fun in that fourth quarter. It's reaction, overreaction Monday. Dallas pulled out the belt. Did not tell you. And just whooped on those Colts, huh? We'll talk about that. We'll also hit the NFL roundup, see what the other teams did around the league, the landscape of the NFC. Some things happened yesterday, Cowboys Nation. Some things happened. And I think, in the Cowboys' favor. And I hate to see it that way, but hey, as my guy would say, if I still got him on it,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's not our problem. But we'll talk about that. So make sure y'all stick around for that. Also, Cowboys depth has been tested. So we'll have to dive into that, where the Cowboys go from there. And, of course, if the Cowboys win, that means the cookout is in. So we'll definitely have a celebration at the cookout and who made it to the grown folk table. I'll ask you guys who was your candidates there, and then I'll have mine as well. Plus, I want to hear from y'all. So make sure y'all call in to the show. We already got a couple on the line, so hold on tight. Call in to the Post of the Nation hotline presented by the Cochran Firm at 351-999-3787. Woo! That was something. I'm still trying to collect myself. Those Sunday night games, I don't like them. But on a few hours of sleep, got my coffee. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk to the nation. I appreciate y'all for being here, Bomb Squad. Shout out to y'all for getting up with me.
Bomb Squad!
Y'all are the best. Before we get into the roundup and everything else, we talked about how this Colts defense with Gus Bradley, they were going to not make things easy for you at first. You had to kind of get through those muddy waters and eventually pull away. But I did not expect this entire team, offense, defense, to pull away the way they did in that fourth quarter. We talked about this on the post-game show. The 33 points scored in the fourth quarter is the second most in NFL history. 54 points, I believe, are the most scored in the NFL this year. I want to say the 49 against the Chicago Bears was previously the high. Y'all can let me know if I'm wrong. But if not, that means the Cowboys have the two highest scoring outputs of the season. Can somebody confirm that? I don't want you to overlook that. And I know we are going to dive into everything all week because that's what we do here. We talk about what went right, what went wrong. But I don't want you to overlook what the Cowboys were able to do. I know this is 4-6 or whatever their record is. They're not a great team. But for them to not be a great team, nobody scored more than 50 points on them before. You know what I mean? I said this before. Go look and see what they did to Pat Mahomes. Go look and see what they did to the Philadelphia Eagles. 17 points. The Cowboys put up 54. So feel good about it. For at least 24 hours. We'll look at some of the tape tomorrow. Y'all know how we do on Tape Tuesday. Should be a fun one. And then we move forward. We march on, and then we talk about those Houston Texans a little bit later down the line. But you got to feel good about this win. And I'm sure you guys in the chat, I'm sure you guys on the phone, we'll talk about some of the things to improve upon as well. And that's the beauty of this show. We can do that and still have fun and still be excited from week to week when you win. So we'll do that, man. I appreciate y'all. What y'all saying here? Is that a confirmed fact? Do the Cowboys have the 2 highest scoring outputs in the NFL? Is that confirmed? What's good, John? Hey, I think I heard JR on 105 through the Fan this morning too, by the way. So if he calls in, I definitely got to talk to him. Can somebody confirm that for me? Is that the highest output Cowboys Nation? Before I move on here, I apologize. I'm holding y'all up. It is. Appreciate it. We'll see what they got to say. All right, let's get to this roundup, Cowboys Nation.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey, yo. The reason why I wanted to go around the NFL, I'm going to be honest with you, it's for selfish reasons. I want to start off with this game because a significant thing happened here. 49ers and the Dolphins. Niners whooped on them, 33-17. That defense, listen, I love the Cowboys defense. If you came and said the Niners defense is the best in the league, it's hard for me to argue with you. Okay, that's a damn good defense. But in that game, they lost Jimmy Garoppolo. This guy is Jimmy Garoppolo. You're right, but they also don't have Trey Lance. Boy, listen, man. I don't know how many third string, fourth string quarterbacks is just mowing teams down in the playoffs. So that is a significant loss for the Niners. And, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo just has this, I don't know what it is, or about him with Kyle Shanahan where they do win games. They win games with him throwing for 6 yards. They win games with him throwing for 2 interceptions. They win games where he does not matter in the playoffs. It just happens. And now he's gone. And the reason why it's significant is because most people would argue, and Shaq, I know you in here, and we'll get to your squad. Most people will argue it was Philly, it was Dallas, or it is Dallas, and it was the Niners as that kind of top 3 in the NFC that could make a real legitimate run here. Does that go down to 2? Am I dismissing Tampa Tom and those boys, which honestly, never mind. Let me just shut up. That's a big loss, man. And listen, the Cowboys happen to meet those boys. Will I be a little bit worried about their defense? Sure. Would I be worried about maybe Kyle Shanahan putting something together? Yeah, sure, maybe. But at the end of the day, you know, your quarterback is going to have to make a play or 2 or more. And they don't have that guy that's been proven in those playoffs to do at least that at some point. So big loss for the Niners. They'll still be a tough out. They'll still be gritty. But do you honestly think that their third string quarterback can get them to the Super Bowl? I have a hard time believing that. They'll be a tough out, though. The Chiefs took a L. 9-3. They're now the 2nd seed in the AFC. The almighty Chiefs, 9-3. The Cowboys, 9-3. But I bet you the way they're talked about is a bit different. It is what it is. Bengals, though, man, that win is looking more and more impressive, right? 27-24, the Bengals moved to 8-4. Now they're moving up the ranks over there in the AFC. Did y'all see Deshaun Watson's comeback? I mean, it is his first game in like 2 years, but they eventually beat the Houston Texans. They fall to 1-10, the Texans, that is, who have the Cowboys next week at home. Take care of business type of game. Those filthy Philadelphia Eagles get the dub 35-10 in a very dominating fashion. The game was close at first, and then it just got ugly towards the middle of that second quarter and just pulled away. A.J. Brown just demolished his former team and showed why he was worth that first-round pick and money. He is a bona fide guy over there, and we'll have to deal with him next game, but I look forward to it. The Commanders and the Giants tied, which actually is the best outcome for the Dallas Cowboys because none of those teams get a win in their win column. They get a tie. So I wonder if that'll play a factor later on down the line for the playoffs. But we will see the Commanders again at the end of the year. We'll see if it matters. And the other game of significance, the Bills beat the Patriots 24-10, and they move into first place in the AFC. Oh, Shaq, this is for you. The Vikings struggle against... I'm just playing. The Vikings beat the Jets 27-22. What looked like a blowout at first, and Mike White kind of made a storm. They kind of stormed back, and then they failed at the end. But they moved to 10-2, which, man, I don't know, man. Shaq, maybe you tell me. That is maybe the most uninspiring 10-2 team I can remember in quite some time. Like, I feel nothing for the Vikings in the playoffs as a threat. I just don't. But I digress. Let's move on. So Zeke didn't start yesterday, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I found that really interesting. Because Zeke has always started when he was available, whether he was playing on one leg or not. So I just looked at that as, all right, well, maybe they're mixing things up. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to start off with Tony Pollard. I kind of was one of the people saying, hey, I would like to see Tony Pollard start off the game. The playbook should be able to open up a little bit more, although we got to talk about the first 15. Boy, that's an issue. But then Jerry came out after the game and was like, yeah, he didn't start because of a disciplinary reason, a minor infraction. Disciplinary reason. First of all, Jerry, why is that even a thing? Even if it is real and somebody asks you that question, shoot that down, man. Keep that in-house. But then Zeke came out and was like, oh, nah, we just wanted to switch things up. Coaches just wanted to kind of do something different and switch things up. Not that Zeke is going to come out and be like, yeah, I messed up, man. But I don't know. The owner says one thing, Zeke says another. Doesn't really matter. Probably not if it's minor. But Zeke says something even more interesting in his post-game interview. And this kind of goes back to the thought that some people might have had about Zeke last year. And I believe this definitely proves it. I'm going to read this quote real quick. He said, quote, I truly believe our team is better off when Tony is getting his touches. He's so explosive. Here's the important part. Last year, I had to really come around to it, and it definitely was a little hard at first. But at the end of the day, what's important is the team. I mean, we can go tinfoil hat, but I think he pretty much just confirmed right there that he didn't give a damn if he was playing on one leg. He wasn't about to let Tony Pollard go out there and take his job. Or just get some of those, I shouldn't say take his job, but get those carries. Maybe a conversation for another day, being that the Cowboys are winning and they have this 1-2 tandem figured out very well. I just wonder, though, if things could have been a little bit different last year if he had this approach when TP was clearly the more healthy and better back during that time period. But I found that quote really, really interesting. But it seems to be behind them. They had a fantastic interview on Sunday Night Football, prep for the game. And those boys are one, really. They are combined as one right now. And when they're combined as one, and healthy, I don't think there's a better team that can run the ball than the Dallas Cowboys. I don't. But really interesting quote. And then finally, the Cowboys fear that Anthony Brown has torn his Achilles and will be out for the season. All jokes aside, I hate that for Anthony Brown. I hate that for this team, to be honest. I had no problem. I talk about that Pine would change your mind. What I mean by Pine, I mean he's no longer your cornerback too. But I had no problem with seeing AB at least get a shot in the slot, or at least AB being part of the depth. When you lose a Jordan Lewis and now you're losing to Anthony Brown, a lot of people have feelings about both of those players, including myself. At the end of the day, those are guys who have been in the trenches with this team, and at the very least, is quality depth. Like AB as your number 2 this year? No. AB as your number 4 or 3? Okay, that's a different story. And the Cowboys lost their number 2 and 3. although I'd argue somebody else number 2. And that depth is being tested. So what will they do? Will they look into free agency? Will they call up Sheffield? Will they try out Israel Mukwamu at cornerback? Will they move Bland outside? Is Joseph going to be the guy? There's a lot of questions that will need to be answered with this, especially after the night that one of our guys had here, and we'll get to that in the cookout. So a lot of questions to be answered here. But I would imagine, I'm just going to take a guess here, Cowboys Nation, that Dallas is going to roll with Kelvin Joseph at first. And before I hit the lines, and I'm pretty sure this will be brought up, and then we're going to go ahead and get to the cookout. I'm gonna get maybe one call in here prior to the cookout, because today, Monday, is about reaction, overreaction for you guys. So I want to hear from y'all. 351-999-3787. They're likely going to go with Kelvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph has not had a great showing this season in the small opportunities that he has been able to have, which is why, on this show, y'all know, I would have liked to see at least Deron Bland get a shot out there. And we're going to talk about Deron Bland here in a second. But I don't think that's going to happen because J. Lou went down and he's your slot guy. So I'm going to be fair here. Kelvin Joseph has not been great this year. He's not. Last year's tape was much better. But he's going to get an opportunity to get into some type of groove. He's going to get an opportunity to make up for a play during a game and maybe make a play later on in the game. He's going to get an opportunity to play extensive snaps where he needs them. He hasn't had them this year, and the ones he has had, I think, have absolutely crushed his confidence. He's been very frustrating to watch this year because he gave up 2 touchdowns, I believe. He's gave up some big catches against Green Bay. It just looks like he's not a confident player out there, and it is clear to me, and this was clear back in camp, that Deron Bland is your cornerback. He was, at that time, we were saying cornerback 4, right? We were saying he bumped up the ranks. But based off this season, he's been your second best corner, in my opinion. Now, there's numbers out there that you can talk about. J. Lou's been gone, so J. Lou excluded. He's been your second best corner. There's numbers out there that'll say Anthony Brown in zone coverage, really good. Anthony Brown in man coverage, bad. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You got to play both in this scheme anyway, right? And he hasn't been consistently average or above average to me. He's been consistently below average to average, not the former. Deron Bland just continues to make plays. In fact, let's go ahead, man. Let's get into this cookout because I got to talk about Deron Bland. I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't. I can't. We got to talk about him, man. It ain't like I can hide from this. We can't sugarcoat this. Deron, anything but Bland. He finished the night with 8 tackles, 4 solo, 2 pass breakups, and 2 amazing picks. I tweeted out, his ability to attack the football is second to Trayvon Diggs. It's that good. Well, actually, I tweeted out his ball skills are the reason why I want to see Deron Bland get a shot outside. That's me. That's Sky. That's fan. That's what I want to see. I don't think they're going to do it. But I think he should be given that shot because that's where teams are picking on the Cowboys deep. That's where teams are picking on the Cowboys in the red zone, whether it be jump balls on Kelvin Joseph or deep shots to Anthony Brown. A 5th-round rookie out of Fresno has the second best ball skills on the team. I say put him in position to utilize those things. But regardless, Deron Bland being on the field is going to be a plus for the Cowboys. So even if he is still in the slot, he still can make plays. Obviously, he did that in this game in the slot. But when a Cowboy, and I know the team we're going to be looking at here is the Philadelphia Eagles. When the Cowboys do go up against the Philadelphia Eagles, if we watch how they played against some of these other opponents, I think you're going to want to have a guy that can contend with wide receivers down the field because they will try you down there. And or they will get the ball out fast on slants or They'll have A.J. Brown do it's not a whip route, but they'll catch it, then he'll whip back around. So you're going to need guys to tackle. DaRon Bland can do that. He's been having a fantastic season. And his also his rookie running mate, Damone Clark, welcome to the big boy table, brother. Welcome to the grown folk table, rookie. Rookie class has been great. He helped open up the floodgates there in the fourth quarter when he forced that second turnover by punching the ball out from Mo Ali Cox. Finished the day with 3 tackles, had that forced fumble, and it was only a matter of time. We talked about this a couple weeks ago where Damone Clark would make a play, right? He'd make a splash play that wasn't a routine play. And I must admit, at first, when I seen him and Barr kind of going in and out in that, those first couple series, I was like, okay, how long are they going to play this game? But as the game kept going, I think you saw Anthony Barr have a little bit more juice. And I wonder if that has to be obviously him coming back from missing a few games, but allowing the older veteran to mix in with Damone Clark. We had talked about this on Vach's show. There was too many times where, not too many times. There were times last year where they had a rotation at linebacker, but they didn't do a rotation this year. It was usually one or two, or it was 2 guys, and that was pretty much it. But they had a nice little healthy rotation in that game, and Damone Clark, as well as Anthony Barr, was able to kind of stay sharp and fresh in that game. Barr finished the night with a good night. 2 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss, and they used him blitzing a little bit more. So I think mixing Clark in there may have kept Barr fresher and could be a positive moving forward, but that's something to monitor. And usually teams kind of rotate linebackers, so it was interesting to see that they didn't do that when you got 3 guys that can play. But Damone Clark, man, welcome to the grown folk table. CeeDee Lamb, come on down, brother. Maybe I'm selfishly putting him on here because y'all know that non-platinum dude got me a little bit hype about CeeDee Lamb, but another efficient game. He made the play of the night, showed off that yak ability that got him highly touted as a prospect. And Cowboys Nation, they finally got him involved underneath. I'm not saying the team, doesn't know what they're doing or anything like that. Of course they do. The team's 9-3. But it was bugging me a little bit that a guy with Lamb's yak ability was continuing to do these deep middle things. Let everybody else clear him out. Let him eat underneath. And you saw on the 2 biggest plays of the night, that's exactly what happened on both plays. They sent those verts. They sent Dalton Schultz to kind of clear out a little bit. The first one, he didn't quite get in front of CeeDee Lamb's guy. It might have been the linebacker in that zone. So the linebacker or corner or safety, whoever the hell it was, had a chance to make the tackle, but he did not because CeeDee Lamb has elite yak ability. Gets up, scores a touchdown. On the second one, I want to say it was a 3rd down play. Did the same thing. Sent 4 guys to clear it out. CeeDee Lamb comes underneath on a drag route, catches it, puts on a crazy stop move on whoever the hell that was, puts on the burners, gets the first down, and then trucks the hell out of whoever that was. Do we have to ask the question anymore? We don't gotta ask the question anymore, right? CeeDee Lamb has proven to be what everybody don't want him to be, right? That's not even a problem anymore. Now it's about finding ways to get Lamb involved in the best way possible. And his running mate, because I could have put him on here too. I left off 2 guys with 2 touchdowns. Think about that for a second. But they've been on this list plenty. Michael Gallup, that series, that scenario, that back-to-back plays, clear out, Lamb underneath, first down. Next play, Michael Gallup gets the jump ball fade in the end zone, touchdown. From now on, that's how you drive with those dudes. And I send in Michael Gallup on these out routes. See what happened there. I know, Dak, you trust your guys. I get it. But, maybe just don't say that. Don't say you don't trust them. Just don't throw it. How about you trust them to do the things that they can do very well? Michael Gallup right now is probably a 3-route guy. It is what it is. He can do the fade. He can run the 9. And he can hit you with some quick slants and post somebody up. Let's just do that, right? Or you can put him on a drag. You can do that too, because if you just keep him moving. But the minute you got to get Michael Gallup to stop and go, becomes a bit of an issue until he gets his knee right. But CeeDee Lamb, welcome back to the Grown Folk Table, bro. On pace for like 1,300 yards, by the way. Just a smooth 1,300, something like that. Malik Hooker, welcome to the Grown Folk Table. Had to put him up here. Former team he played against, the Colts, drafted him in the first round, and he went off. 2 tackles, a pass breakup, a pick, a forced fumble for a touchdown return. And I want to say the interception and the fumble recovery were on back-to-back series. The 3-headed monster was on full display at safety. You had Dono and Curse combined for 3 tackles for loss, 17 tackles, 16 of them were solo. And then you had Malik Hooker capping it off with his night. I find this interesting about Malik Hooker, and let me bring y'all back here. Or not Malik Hooker, but this safety room in general, right? Last year, did it not seem like Jaron Curse was that leader, that vocal leader, that physical leader on the defense? I don't know if this is normal, but it feels like that has shifted to Malik Hooker. How often does that happen? Like in back-to-back years, kind of the leadership just switches that fast with the same guys on the team. But then I start to think, well, I wonder if that happened because, last year, J-Ron he wasn't supposed to be the leader. He became the leader when Dono went out. Dono went down, J-Ron's play elevated, and he kind of took that leadership role. Well, guess who went out this year? J-Ron went out. Malik Hooker's play elevated, and he's kind of taking that leadership role. He just naturally fits as a leader for the Cowboys, and his play is showing it as well. Now, there's been some plays here or there where we're not sure, the coverage or what have you. Like, why isn't Malik Hooker over top of Anthony Brown on a deep ball here? But for the most part, Malik Hooker has had a fantastic season, and he's kind of been a leader. Has anybody else noticed that about Malik Hooker? He seems to be this year's J-Ron Curse. From a play standpoint and from a leadership standpoint, he's the kind of the veteran on that back end, keeping things together for this Cowboys secondary. So that's my grown folk table. I mean, others are definitely worthy, right? Tony Pollard, Zeke, Michael Gallup. Hell, anybody on defense, really, if you want to. The defense went off yesterday in that fourth quarter. So y'all let me know who else you think should be on here. Mark says, Donald's a free agent. Is he a keeper now? Hey, if you listen to me in the offseason, we did a 3 guys that we thought should get kind of that early contract. Dono was one. Terrence was one. I don't know if he's going to be a keeper, though, because they signed, and I love Donovan Wilson. I would love to bring him back. If they can get him for cheap, hell yeah, he's a keeper. But they signed Malik and they signed J-Ron to multi-year deals. Now, next year, they'll both be going into their final year. But this is a conversation for in the offseason. Let's see what happens to end the season. But I love Donovan Wilson. He's been a beast this year. He's been a beast. Flo says safeties have been great this year. Dono has been one of the best defensive backs in the NFL, though. Yep, Donovan Wilson. T-Dub says we need that upgrade in the draft. Quote, the free safety. And you want to upgrade from... I think Malik Hooker's a fine free safety. But he'll be on 1-year deal next year. If Malik Hooker was signed for a couple extra years, I don't think you even look at... They're not going to, first of all, this is the Cowboys, T-Dub. Yeah, no, they're not drafting a safety higher than the 4th round. That's just not what they're going to do. Maybe that changes, but until it does, I'm going to go with that. Maybe you extend Malik. We got to remember, he's 25? He's 25 years old, so he's young, he's healthy, he's stepping up as a leader, and he's had a really good year. So maybe you just keep him around. Suge said, you need a bigger table if we keep playing like this. Absolutely. You ain't lying about that. You ain't lying about that. All right, let's get to these phone lines, man. Let's hear from you, man, on the Pulse of the Nation phone lines presented by the Cochran Firm. Y'all saw us. I think King Element said I had Saul Goodman on the show live on Friday. We were down at the Cochran Firm, got a chance to kick it with Brian and Larry, talk some life things, talk some football things. You guys saw it. Brian came on. He knows what he's talking about. Really good dudes down there, man. And they will fight for you. They're smart, they're intelligent, and they're fierce in getting it done for you down at the Cochran Firm. If you run into any issues, vehicle-wise, any issues with malpractice, any issues with anything, and you need legal advice, hit up the Cochran Firm at 1-800-THE-FIRM or contact them at CochranTexas.com. That's right, Cochran cares. All right, James from Cali. What's good, my man?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up with you? How you feeling today on this 54-19 Monday?
And while I'm rocking my CeeDee Lamb jersey and drinking my coffee out of my Dallas Cowboys mug, man, it's spectacular this morning. Good coffee. But anyway, I'll tell you what, man. I was doing some research, as you said. So, yes, the Dallas Cowboys have the number 1 and 2 most points scored, 54 and 49. And then I dug further, and I'm going to spit out another piece of information. I don't know if you know this, but the Cowboys in that 33 fourth quarter output is the second highest ever scored in the NFL since the Detroit Lions in 2007 scored 34.
Yeah, we brought that up in the opening of the game of the show.
I didn't even know if you did that. I must have been, pouring my coffee or whatever. But I'll tell you what, man, that is crazy. Deron Bland, man, I hope that man plays more because that man didn't just pick them off. Those were like, excuse me, that's my football. I mean, he snatched both of them.
Yes.
So that was sweet. I liked it. And the one thing I'm going to point out before I get to something that you and I discussed before back early in the season, you may remember this, but the thing I noticed that Kellen Moore and DQ both did at the same, I don't know if at the same time, but during the same game, we were kind of starting off kind of slow on both sides of the ball. Then we made adjustments, and then we took off from there. And I like that to see both coaches adjust during the same game. That was great. Now, remember back when we had that discussion when you were talking about with the defense, the floodgates or the levees could break?
Yep.
Bruh, I think the dam just broke.
Oh, it been broke.
It's gone. Yeah.
That thing broke, man.
And as Vach was saying last night, now this is my question. Vach was saying this last night. I always believe and trust in what you and Vach say, man. You are my top YouTubers. And that is, do you think there is anybody other than the Cowboys right now, the way we're playing right now, that could beat us the way we're playing?
The Cowboys ceiling, and this is the best way to describe it. When the Cowboys ceiling, I think there may be only 1 or 2 teams that are as good as them when they reach their ceiling. That may be it. There may be 1 or 2 teams. The problem is, can you get to that ceiling in the playoffs, right? That's where you want to hit that ceiling in the playoffs. But, during the regular season, when the Cowboys hit their ceiling, whether it be in a full game, whether it be in a quarter, whether it be in a half, whatever it is, there may be only 1 or 2 teams that I think, both offensively and defensively, are as good as – you hear I didn't say better, right? But as good as the Cowboys. And it's all about getting to that ceiling for Dallas, right? Or if you're not going to reach it, don't go in the basement during that game.
Exactly.
Because if you can kind of stay,
don't go back and digress. I don't
right. If you can kind of stay, level-headed, and then hit that ceiling throughout the game, I think they could put teams away real fast. But it's about not falling behind. When I say falling behind, I mean falling behind your expectations of what we expect you how to play.
Right. And the last thing I'm going to say before I let you go, as somebody said, just kind of touching, your cookout table's got to get bigger. But the thing I was going to say, though, is that, see, people are going to probably say, all the naysayers and Cowboy haters, oh, well, you were supposed to win. Yeah, as Vach said, we were supposed to win, but we weren't supposed to blow them out. Not like that.
Yeah, we were supposed to win by 11.
By what, 3 points?
Yeah.
We blew them out.
Yeah.
it was over, man.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed every bit of it. I actually slept good last night. But, hey, man, I'm going to get off here so if some other of your callers can get through. But, hey, like I always say, man, you and Vach, man, are the only real YouTubers I watch, man. And I really appreciate both of you.
That's heavy, man. Appreciate you, James. Good call.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, this run that they're on right now is crazy. I mean, this is cool, but it's also Cowboys. This Cowboys 2 halves of the season are absolutely bonkers. They didn't score 30 points the first 6 games of the season. Not one time. They've scored 49, 40, 54, 28, 28 in this kind of reset button of a season. And as Cowboy fans, we are more invested in other teams, right? So when we watch our games, it was up and down game, right? Up and down first half for the most part, if we're being completely honest. Literally, 3 and out, touchdown. Turnover, touchdown. Punt, touchdown. It was just literally the first half. That's how it went. It's really weird. And when you go into a halftime and you're like, yeah, this is a strange first half, but we're on pace for 42 points. It's like, this team is strange, right? Because they can at any moment just score and score fast in a hurry. And I have to say team, because this defense can get the ball back to this offense. And when this offense can score, they can score. They can score and score in a hurry. Again, this is a Colts team that held the Eagles to 17 points. It's a Colts defense that made Patrick Mahomes have the worst game of the season. So pardon me if I'm not tripping that Dak Prescott won 20 for 30 and 170 yards and 3 touchdowns. To me, it looked like he had a normal game against this Colts defense. So I'm not freaking out about that. I'm actually more concerned about the first 15. I say this on Twitter. It feels like every week. There just doesn't seem to be that same level of purpose in the Cowboys' first 15 as some of these other teams, some of these other offenses. It's like, all right, we start to do the pre-snap motion stuff. We start to do tight end stuff. We start to do all these other things a little bit later. So, I'm more worried about that than I am about your quarterback going 20 for 30 for 170 and 3 tutties and an interception. Sorry. Call me a homer, call me an apologist, call me whatever you want. But that's not a game I'm going to sit and complain about 54-19 against that defense that has made things challenging for other quarterbacks and whatnot. So I'd rather focus on some of the things that I think could be a bit more of an issue. But nonetheless, man, when you go 54-19, it's hard to really get in on anything. But here's what I'm going to do. Let me get to the next caller. And then I got to just hold tight, man. Next caller. Who? And it's Rick. What's good, Rick?
Oh. Hey, what's going on?
What up, bro?
What's going on?
Go ahead, man.
What's going on, Cowboy Nation? Like, share, and subscribe. That was a great win, man. That was a great win for our team. It was bad that we had to lose Anthony Brown in the mix of that. Great win. We can't, my thing is like this. We've been getting on this guy for years, but I still think he's a valuable piece to this team. But now he has to watch from the sideline, so it's like next man up. we got to just my thing is like this. I want to keep the same energy when this playoff time. I want to see this team rolling, man. Hopefully Jerry and Baby Nuts Jones, Stephen Jones, Catboy Jones don't let Odell out of the building today. Because I think he'll be a good piece for this team when it's playoff time. I just got a feeling about that. But other than that, we did our thing. We did what I expected us to do, and that's about it, though. But that's all I had to really say. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Let's move on. 915. What's goody?
Yo, what's up, Sky? It's your friend from El Paso, Fonzie. How you doing?
What up, Fonzie?
Long time no talk. I know I've been busy with this World Cup, but now I'm back. And just wanted to give props. Since day one, I've been hyping up the man who ain't bland, Deron Bland. That man is a beast of a player.
Yeah, Deron Bland's that guy. I'm going to follow what happens this week to see what happens.
He already earned my respect. Cowboys are playing lights out. Can't wait till we play these sorry Eagles on Christmas Day. We're going to give them a big lump of coal. And I just can't wait till we show up and put them in their place. The only thing I'm worried about right now is we need to get another corner just for depth. Who would you pick up? Would you get a free agent? What would you do?
I think they're going to have to because they need the bodies. There's guys out there, but I don't think guys that are going to move the needle. I think what they're going to do immediately, though, is call up Sheffield from the practice squad and get some cornerbacks in here for tryouts. I think they're going to try out a bunch of corners.
Got it. That's pretty much it, man. I'm happy for Deron Bland. I'm happy for the real America's team that actually wins. I was a little upset about the soccer team losing, but the real American team always wins, especially when they have that red, white, and blue on their helmet. But you know, I saw another thing. I thought we won the Odell Beckham sweepstakes on Thanksgiving. Why is there still a sweepstakes going on right now? I thought we won it back in Thanksgiving, and he was going to make his decision, and then we just murked these people on Thanksgiving. But I think Odell's going to sign this weekend, so I'm happy about that. And I don't know, man. How far do you think we're going to go?
Well, if they hit their ceiling, this is the team that can go to that Super Bowl. But you know, I have a hard time saying any of that until we get to the playoffs. I just been duped too many times with this squad. But I'm just going to enjoy this thing week to week until we get to the playoffs and we reset.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just want to keep it short. Shout out to my brother Alan. He always hears you as well. And before I go, can we do a little Spanish? How about them Cowboys?
Go ahead.
Puro pinche Cowboys. Let's go, America's team. Get hyped up.
Hey, the Lunatic.
Have a great week. Guys.
Appreciate you. The Lunatic, you got some competition now, man. You got some competition. Appreciate you, brother. Odell Beckham. Hey, no, I didn't bring it up because at this point, I'm kind of like, if it happens, it happens, whatever. But I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. He is scheduled to meet with the Cowboys today. And then tomorrow, I think he's going to meet with the leadership council or whatever that is. And he'll make his decision by the end of the week. Insiders believe the Cowboys are favored. Listen, man, I said this to Professor O. I am just conditioned to believe these type of things don't happen for the Dallas Cowboys. He's more of a cherry on top. But if it happens, if it doesn't happen, then my thought process will have come true. I just don't see it happening. But they're whining and dining him. They're taking him to the Mavericks game today. He's meeting with Dak tomorrow. Apparently, the Cowboys are in the lead. When it happens, it happens. Other than that, Cowboys just won 54-19. They're averaging, since Dak Prescott has returned, the offense has been humming. They're averaging something like probably close to damn 40 points now. They haven't scored less than 28 points since the first game Dak came back. Number one on third. Again, another third down efficient day for the Cowboys. They went 7 for 13 in on third downs, and in the red zone they went 4 for 4. There's a couple things that have been a difference since 4 has returned. Right? He's obviously more of a gunslinger than he has been before. But the third downs have improved, and the red zone efficiency has improved. I don't think listen, this is no knock. Rush did his job, but third downs and red zone was a problem. I just get to the point now, or it is to the point now, when we get into that red zone, I feel confident as hell that the Cowboys are going to score a touchdown. They won 4 for 4 yesterday. They won into that game 82% since he returned. That's going to go up. That's crazy. If you're close to 90% in the red zone scoring a touchdown, Brett Maher went from leading the damn league in scoring and on his way to an all-pro season to, damn, I can't get a kick. They gave him a little kick last week at the end of the game. He hasn't attempted a real meaningful kick since what? 3 weeks ago? It's offense, man. When this offense is rolling, it's rolling. When it's not, it just looks kind of like a regular offense. But when it's rolling, there's only a few that you would take over this offense right now. And that's a testament to everybody out there. My man Glenn from the 215. What's goody?
My name, like I said, to Vach last night, my name is Watama Murkuden Mijudia Babobo, but my enemies call me Duran.
Duran. Hold on, where you at?
Hey, let's go.
That's your name. What's good, bro?
They call me Duran was snatching candy in the playground yesterday, bro.
Wasn't he?
He was balling. Good morning, my man. Blessings to you and the family. Hell of a game last night. We won big. Just want to touch a few points. Peters definitely at the grown man table because he is a grown man. The few plays he was in, I don't know how many plays, he was putting hands on people. He was putting hands on them dudes. Tyler Smith was getting up to that second level.
Oh, yeah,
he was doing his thing.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have I might have to, when we break the film down tomorrow, we might have to take a look at some of those snaps when Tyler Smith moved inside, and they did it early. They're really experimenting this thing, and they're getting ready for the Tyler Smith Tyron Smith to return, which might be next week.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. As long as he don't come back with the false starts, I'm good, because he kills us with the false starts. But anyway. We look good, man. You took my thunder with the red zone and the third down. I was going to bring that up. It was a couple of weeks ago. Dak hit Gallup on that post. It was like a 3rd and 4, and he hit Gallup on a post. So I was like, why are you throwing it down the yardage? It was one of those run or pass, and he hit Gallup on a strike on the post. And ever since that game, I forget which game was before, the Vikings game, I believe. And, man, we've been converting those third down possessions in the red zone. Oh, my God, we was killing it last night. I did think they was forcing it to Schultz a little bit. I love Schultz. I don't know why they weren't using other tight ends. I guess that was the package plan for yesterday, but continue to use Schultz. I would like to see them sprinkle in Malik Davis just a little bit more. I know TP and Zeke got to get their touches. But like the Lions do with their 3 backs, they bring that other boy in for a few more plays. Just not in blowout games. I want to see Malik a little bit more. But great game last night. I'm not going to keep you. Once again, blessings to you and the family. Looking forward to hear you and Vach later today.
Yes, sir.
Stay blessed and be good, my man.
Appreciate the call, man.
Peace.
Yeah, Malik Davis came in at the end of the game and said, I want to be a part of the party. He had 3 carries, 29 yards, and he also scored a touchdown. So all 3 of the Cowboys running backs scored a touchdown, combined for 4 of them. The Cowboys scored 7 offensive touchdowns. 7. As for the tight ends, I did find it very perplexing. If you watch the pregame show, I brought up how the how the Colts were one of the worst teams against tight ends in the league. They were giving up 124 quarterback rating 2 tight ends. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. The Cowboys are running a monstrous tight end package right now, and that seems to favor being an advantage to the Cowboys. And it came out for whatever reason, and it seemed like, and again, we'll look at the tape, it seemed like they were doing more 11 personnel things against a team that has been pretty solid against that specific set, that specific against a bunch of wide receivers, against a defense that was respectable. So I thought they kind of won against common sense, maybe to try to outsmart the Colts, and it resulted in, again, an up and down first half. 3 and out, touchdown. I think punt, interception, touchdown. Like it was a herky jerky. That's something around those. So I can go look at the play-by-play or whatever. But it was a herky jerky first half, and then they found their footing, and then kind of the floodgates opened up with the defense giving them the ball back. And every time they gave them the ball back, it seemed like they scored a damn touchdown and not a field goal. So that's another thing that was a difference from earlier in the season. The Cowboys weren't capitalizing off the turnovers, and that's one of the main things that Dak said they wanted to do. And especially after that Detroit game, they said, hey, we got to make sure we capitalize off of these things. And they're doing that. They're absolutely doing that against all these opponents. Now, just kind of continue that train all the way till we get to December 24th, and then we'll go from there. Mr. Ronnie, what's good?
Good morning, and God bless you and your family and the show like always.
Thank you, man.
Okay, listen, I got a couple of things that I want to say. Kellen Moore used the CD Lamb right way. He used him the right way yesterday. He was moving it in a lot of different ways. Like San Francisco uses that guy, number 19. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. And also, too, I want to say Mike McCarthy deserves a lot of credit, too. By him putting in the rookies to play and early in the season, it's starting to work out for us, because now you see how he put Bland stepped up yesterday when we needed him. And also, too, when you do your film study like you always do, your great film study that you do, I noticed that Tyler Smith was doing 2 positions. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, but it's like he was doing two positions, and he was doing a great job.
Yeah,
and
let me
also.
Yeah, go ahead.
Huh?
No, finish. Go ahead.
And then also too, Zeke is a true team player, because if you've seen that thing that they had with him and Tony Pollard, he is a true team player from the heart. And the defense is crazy. The defense is playing really good. And also, my last thing is also to Dak throwing the ball out in the flat to TP, to Tony Pollard. That is plays really helping the Cowboys. That was a play that we didn't see Dallas used to do a lot. I think they got to stick with that, because that's really putting TP in the flat, and he's dangerous. Whenever he's in the flat, he's dangerous. But that's all I got for today. It was a great victory, but we just got to keep up with the consistency, and we should be okay. God bless you and the family like always. Mad love to the show like always.
Appreciate you, Mr. Ronnie. Thank you. Yeah, I start backwards here. You talk about TP in the flats. I was a bit shocked that the Cowboys kind of went away from Tony Pollard in the passing department after that Minnesota game. He had 6 targets, 6 receptions in Minnesota for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then only 2 receptions against New York and then 2 receptions against Indy. And against Indy, he had his first one went 10 yards in the flat. And what I love that what they're doing with Tony Pollard, again, it's if you've been following the show, it's why I highly recommend, if you're a diehard Cowboy fan. Every time I see a Cowboy fan, I'm like, yo, listen, I'm not saying this just to say this, but like, we really go in on the team from top to bottom. From early in the season, we talked about getting him out immediately, right? And allowing him to be an option for Dak. And it seems like every time they do that, there's usually something good that comes out of it, because here's why something good comes out of it. Either somebody's open right away and Dak is going to deliver it. If not, it's because you're probably getting some type of shell coverage. And now I got Tony Pollard with 10 yards of green grass, and Dak is just like, all right, cool, boom. And now Tony Pollard's running for 15 yards, running for 30 yards, running for whatever it is. So I would 100% use him as a weapon out the backfield, or use him like they did Malik Davis against the Bears, where they had that conflict. Y'all know I love conflict. They had that conflict with the tight ends. to the linebacker. Malik Davis immediately released, and you got an easy first down to the 1 yard line with almost a touchdown. So, they're sprinkling in a little bit more things, but they kind of went away from it. And against a team like this that I thought had a respectable defense, specifically against the pass, if you notice, it was more yak things that worked for the Cowboys. It was more things underneath, and you had to find a way to get these guys up by using CeeDee Lamb and having guys clear out, by using Tony Pollard right away, getting a tight end when you do catch him up the seam as opposed to a CeeDee Lamb up the seam. So there was adjustments made, and I don't want that to go too far because we talked about it on the post game. A caller called in and talked about that. If there is a silver lining in these herky-jerky starts, which again is really weird. Some of these games you have 20-some points in the first half, but nonetheless, if there's a silver lining, there seems to be some adjustments made, and we have been advocating for adjustments. So I think they've made season-long adjustments, and I think we're seeing in-game adjustments from Kellen Moore and his staff. Panthers release. Wow. What a fall. Panthers release Baker Mayfield. Welp. 912. What it is, what it do?
What's up, Sky?
What's good with you?
Hey, I just wanted to say this real quick. I ain't trying to be long, but I love Dak's message of I'm going to stay aggressive and throw the football downfield regardless. I don't think a lot of people understand what that type of psyche does for a defensive coordinator. Hey, you never know. It could be 31, and I still might throw it deep. So if you stack the box, prepared to get beat deep, regardless if it's 3rd and 7 or 31 or 2nd and 10 or 1st and 10. I like that. That prevents the defense from stacking the box and trying to stop the run, which gives more space for Davis, Zeke, and Pollard to do their thing. So when you do run the ball and you do see a lot of space, that's because the defense is like, hey, yo, back up. Dak may throw it deep regardless. Even if he throws a pick, he's still going to come back. Instead of having that, well, I just threw a pick. Let's just keep it honest right now and run the ball.
Yeah.
No.
As a quarterback, you can't – as a quarterback that is that good, you can't go into a shell because you threw an interception. This ain't Cooper Rush throwing the ball. This is Dak Prescott, man. So
right.
you can't go –
you got to be Fedora from Finding Nemo.
Yeah,
like interception. I don't remember that.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to – maybe that's an unpopular opinion because I noticed when Dak throws an interception, the whole chat just goes, oh, man, he's trash. No. Keep throwing it. Keep firing at it.
You want to avoid Twitter.
If they get a pick, oh, well, it happens. Defensive backs get paid. Who knew?
Right.
Keep throwing the football. Keep firing the football. If you throw a pick, oh, well, keep firing it.
Yeah. You want to avoid Twitter when an incomplete pass happens with Dak Prescott.
Your receivers appreciate it. Your running backs appreciate it. You feel me?
Yeah, but what I would like to see though is better concepts.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's not be reckless with it, but at the same time, hey, if like just like in boxing, if you're throwing a jab and you're throwing a jab, but it's working and it's keeping them honest, sometimes you may get stuck, but that don't mean stop. No. You can't stop. It's just about understanding your team, and it seemed like they came to that understanding, and you saw a lot more underneath things, letting your best player on the outside use his yak ability, seeing your guys out the backfield, sticking to the run. If once they noticed, all right, this shell coverage, they're not giving us anything deep. They just did what they needed to do to keep the offense matriculating down the field. Then he started to dot up a little bit there, threw that one to Schultz down the seam, and that then things get going. But I'm not saying force it deep, but what I'm saying is get some better concepts so you can start hitting those even more. One more question I have for you.
Yep.
With Anthony Brown being down, do you think Odell Beckham is the direction we should go, or should we look to get another corner?
I don't think Beckham affects you getting a corner whatsoever because there's no Odell Beckham at corner out there. There's no guy that you can't sign off the street for pennies at cornerback. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, well, that's all I had. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yep. Appreciate the call, man.
Yep. Yeah,
you got to stay with the aggressive mindset, I think. it's just a matter about picking his spots. You know, interceptions are going to happen. You know, it is what it is. You just don't want them to be. I said this before, and they're always in the first half with Dak this year. But you don't want it to be end of games. You don't want it to be swing moments, et cetera, et cetera. And they haven't been in regards to the end of games. Now, the biggest one I would say would be the one that got them down 14-7 against Green Bay. But then it's just weird because now you're up 28-14. So it's just been a strange year with those, right? Because there's an explanation for over half of them, but then the one yesterday to me was kind of like you're forcing it to Michael Gallup on an out route against that guy, which when I went back and look, when they showed the replay, you can see there was some double team on CeeDee Lamb, but I would just make life easier for Michael Gallup. Why run that route against Gallimore? But that's nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. Maybe we're nitpicking a bit, but we'll dive into it. We'll take a look at it tomorrow. Let's get to 870. What's goody?
Oh yeah, this is Jonathan from Arkansas, man. I just want to be real quick, and I want to speak on CeeDee Lamb.
Speak on it.
I think the fans was impatient because of he getting drafted with Justin JJ in Minnesota. You know, he killing the game right now, and I guess people were expecting him to keep up with him. But you know, the situation was different because he was playing alongside Amari Cooper. You know,
Sure.
Cooper's still doing this thing, so people don't look at that part. And also, I'm looking at CD, and he's stepping up. Like I think they say he had gained, like he got more physical and all season, gained more muscle, and you can see it translate in the game now. Like when he ran over old boy, you can see that.
Hey, bro.
And it's like now
He did that last year though. There was a screenplay he had against the Giants last year where he trucked the mess out of their cornerback last year. So it's more of a mentality thing for CeeDee Lamb with that yak stuff. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get in there. I was gonna say like I feel like last year I feel like he was more trying to be like a finesse type. Like I think that's why he was dropping the ball because I think he was trying to.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. He was trucking dudes last year is what I'm getting at. It's just that I don't think they gave him too many opportunities to showcase his yak ability because a lot of his big plays were downfield. But when he got the opportunity to do some of those quick screens and was able to get it blocked up, or the one where he put Malcolm Jenkins on skates, you saw that elite yak ability was there.
Yeah.
But they just were they were asking CD to do more downfield things. In this game, CD got a chance to get some momentum, right? And was in this year, he's done it a few times where he was able to dip his shoulder down and truck you. So CD has the mentality, brother. I think he's always had it. He just never got the opportunity.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say never, but
I can see that. Yeah, I see that. It's just I just see now it's like he don't drop the ball as much, you know. And and you could just tell now. You could tell like he getting stronger mentally. Like you know, like when they say quarterbacks have to have a quick memory when they throw an interception. I think he's doing that with the drops. Like I'm just seeing his progress.
Yeah.
And it's just.
He ain't dropped the ball, I don't think, in weeks.
Yeah, you know. And like I said, I think people were just trying to put a lot of pressure on. I be hearing Shannon Sharp try to disrespect him, saying like he's not a top 15 wide receiver and stuff like that, you know. Yeah.
Were you at the zoo?
I think. Huh?
You at the zoo?
Oh no! I'm outside. Yeah, I'm outside of my apartment, man. I ain't want to wake my girl up.
I can dig it, bro. Appreciate you calling in, brother.
All right.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb has cleaned up. That thing was still going off, Mike. Let's go take a look real quick. Let's go see when he's been. Because, man, you know, a lot of people were on him about the drops. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not going to go look up the rest of the league, but somebody had posted something the other day, and there's a lot of other receivers that y'all like over CeeDee Lamb that got more drops. Let's see. One drop since week 3. Cleaned it up. 900 and 28 yards, 78, something like that. They don't have this game counted, but he has over 900 something yards, I believe, 6 touchdowns now, on pace for over obviously 1,000, but around that 1,300 mark, close to about 90 receptions. If he keeps this up, he's averaging like 6 or 7 a game. CeeDee Lamb is if you're upset that they didn't take Justin Jefferson, then you're missing the context, right? Jefferson is a beast. It is what it is. But now CeeDee Lamb is being put in that feature role, and I said this yesterday with Jesse. They're actually featuring him. Last year, we were constantly on here like, hey, dog, you got playmakers here. It'd be nice if you actually, featured one of these guys every game or every other, whatever. Just feature that player. Make the team adjust to it. And teams are. Martise. Teams are adjusting. Teams are showing that type of coverage and respect to CeeDee Lamb, which gives you one-on-one elsewhere. Martise. So, can we stop with the number one thing now, right? We can stop that, right? And we don't even that shouldn't even be a discussion. It never really was in regards to the talent. It was always about him mentally. It's always been a number one talent wide receiver. It's about him just maturing because he's been thrusted into that role of having to be kind of the big homie early on in his career. He doesn't have that guy out there anymore. And now we're seeing him kind of mature a little bit in that area. So let's just get rid of that. I'm going to lock these up, and I'm going to let these phone calls finish out. But before we do that, we're still undefeated with this, baby. The final segment of the show is brought to you by Boston Scientific, a.k.a. Sky from Dubai. In the U.S., more than 39 million men suffer from ED. Boston Scientific created edcure.org to help you find your best cure. To get started, head on over to edcure.org, take the quiz, and learn your severity or risk of ED. If you have a condition that puts you at a higher risk, you'll find customized content. The fastest way to find your best cure is to contact an ED specialist by browsing a list of experienced physicians in your area. Hit them up, edcure.org. Brought to you by Boston Scientific.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
in front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Bollywood Boston Scientific is wow. Wait, please call in if you. Is this guy? Are you saying CeeDee Lamb is not having a good year? Are you saying CeeDee Lamb is not a receiver? What are you saying, Tony Johnson? Oh, I need to know this. I promise you I won't go angry Sky. But what are you trying to say? Because then you just contradicted your damn self. The next one talking about, let me calm down, Devontae Adams, who's got a worse one. And I'm talking about him saying that he's got no other top 5 receiver has a worse catch percentage except for the number 1 receiver in the NFL. Let me calm down. Let me take a sip. The goalpost with this team and its players. He ain't say nothing. All right, let me get somebody in here, bro. 845, what's good?
What's good, Sky? This is Mark in New York. How you doing, Mark Felix?
I'm good, man. Mark from New York. Oh, this is Mark Felix.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know,
yes,
you
sir.
always sprinkle in your call every here and there, so I'm not used to you calling in. What's up, though?
I'm doing good. Listen, a couple of quick points. Great show as usual. This thing with OBJ, I think that he is definitely a luxury. I see what everyone's saying, especially with how we're scoring. it's not like it's a necessity. It's a luxury. At this point, even if we could get like 3 catches and like 60 yards out of him, I'm good with that. As long as one of those catches is a 40-yard run, catch and run.
Yeah.
I think we'll be good. And because the thing is, he's the type of player that's a game breaker. And I think that when you have that as your third option, I mean, you really, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, Mark, you know what I've been before you go on. You know what I've been hearing, and I definitely agree with this. Different analysts or fan, whatever, people have been saying this in a different way. They don't care about Odell Beckham being here for the volume stats. They care about him for those 2 or 3 plays in the playoffs in big moments.
Exactly.
And I'm with that thought process. Like this year, I don't think it's about, hey, we got to get Odell Beckham involved in 7, 8, 9, 10 targets a game. Nah, I think it's about big moments. Can you trust? Dak talked about it yesterday. Can I trust you in contested areas? Can I trust you in those tight windows to actually go get the rock and come down with it? And I think that's what they're looking at Odell Beckham this year, if he can play this year, right? Like if he can get back to himself. And then next year you can implement him in the offense in a way that makes you a little bit more explosive.
Exactly. And he's proven that he has that in his DNA. I mean, when he was here with the Giants, he showed out like in the playoff season.
Yeah.
But the point is that, it's a luxury. Now, the other point is the fact that Micah had a quiet game. Trevon had a quiet game. D-Law had a quiet game, and we still scored 54 points. We blew this team out. We haven't even hit critical mass yet, And the thing is that, this team is definitely scary. It really is. But, just like you're a longtime Cowboy fan, we just want to temper everything because we've seen this before. But for some reason, this run feels different. There's something different about it. I don't know if it's Coach McCarthy. I don't know if it's just kind of like, maybe the stability that he's brought to the whole staff or how he's running things. But for some reason, this just feels different. And, as long as they can keep the penalties under control, keep the turnovers under control, like you said, outside of KC, Buffalo, and, the Sheagles.
I'm about to say, you can say it. It's okay. It's okay. You can say it.
Who else is going to play with us? I mean, when we're clicking on all cylinders at all 3 phases, we could play with literally anybody, and we've proven that.
I agree. When I said it, and I'm going to keep saying it, shout out to Dave for kind of putting it in my head here, is that, he said there's no team when they play at their ceiling he thinks is better than the Cowboys. I agree. I don't think anybody's better when they reach that ceiling. They may be as good, and then it's going to come down to a few plays. But, when the Cowboys hit their ceiling, they're as good as any football team in the NFL.
As we just got that gear, and it's good to see that we have that gear that when we need it, we could throttle it and we could literally blow anyone out. Listen, Skies, great talking to you as always, and I hope to talk to you again. All right, my man?
Appreciate you, Mark. Good call, and keep killing it in the chat, brother.
Yes, sir.
He says 2 things there that I want to talk about real quick. Think about this for a second. Michael Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, Dak Prescott, D-Law, all had relatively, quiet games. It's weird to say quiet when you throw for 3 touchdowns, and a couple of those touchdowns were nice little, moving out and some good throws or whatever. But for the most part, we've seen Dak throw for 280, 300 or whatever, and have better games than this, right? This was an okay game, whatever. But Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, DeMarcus Lawrence, Trayvon Diggs, arguably 4, if not even arguable, of your top 5 players on your team all had games, and you put up 54 points. I don't care how bad the Colts are. I don't. That type of stuff, man, this team is, when they're rolling like that, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. And then he brought up penalties. Shout out to the stat. Last week they had 13. Mike McCarthy came out and said, yeah, we're going to focus on this. It's a problem. We're going to focus on this. The Colts We're a top 5 team in penalties. One of the best disciplined teams in regards to getting flags. Dallas out-disciplined the Colts. They had 3 penalties. Hey, you got to clap it up for baby steps, man. Baby steps. I don't know if this is going to continue, but from 13 to 3, Mike McCarthy deserves some credit for that. Let's get the 5-1 or 5-6-1, then 205. Then we're going to wrap you off for a little bit. What's good, 5-6-1?
Yo, Skywalker, what's happening, man?
What up with you?
Can you hear me good?
Is Jake the Great?
Yeah, Jake the Great, man. What's happening? You can hear me good?
Yeah, I got you. I'm going to turn you up a little bit, but I got you. What's goody?
Trying to talk to these Cowboy fans that are expecting perfection. You know, like they want 50 points in the first half, 50 points in the second half. But for me, I'm pretty happy with how we've been playing. It's a little bit of a nail biter, I ain't going to lie, in the first half, but it kind of reminds me, let me know if I'm wrong, doesn't it seem like how New England Patriots, how they used to do it, almost like they have 2 game plans? Like, we're going to come out in the first half. All right, this didn't work. Throw it away. Let's try this out with these second half adjustments. Don't you think it's kind of New English-ish, you think?
I don't know if it – I'm not going to lie to you, Jake. I know about New England's week-to-week game plans. I don't know about their in-game. Like, I didn't study them that much to know. But I will say, you know, the fact that they've been able to adjust at half times is a welcome sight, because for how many years did we say there just seems to never be an adjustment, right? And now, now we're seeing the team do it.
Yeah, just like how the previous caller said, it feels different. Under the Jason Garrett regime, if we start out fast, we're like, all right, can we hang on to this lead? And before we know it, we're fighting for our lives, and we was up by a lot of points. You know, it's like, it's not a coincidence that we keep adjusting these second halves, you know. But I want to speak on, yesterday was a pretty big deal with the Giants and the Washington team tying. Yep. I was looking at the playoff simulator, and I was looking at the weeks ahead, and it kind of gives them like a 75% chance of both of them making the playoffs. And then these last coming weeks, the NFL did a real good job with matching up potential playoff teams together. It's gonna be pretty crazy. But I'm pretty happy that we won this game, and we should just focus on where we're at, even if we don't catch the Eagles. If we do, because it seems like we're kind of like cemented in this 5th seed, but good win. Let's keep on going, and how about the Cowboys? That's all I got.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Jake. I don't know if we'll catch Philly, but I think we're continuing to put the pressure on them to have to win. And honestly, I said this last week, man. There's something about them having to fight to stay in a playoff hunt, right? I mean, and it's weird to say in a hunt. They're probably 2 victories away from locking this thing up, but they need to get those 2 victories because you got other teams on their heels in the NFC, specifically in the NFC East. But even if Philly continues to win, they don't slip up the next 2 games, and Dallas continues to win, I don't think, I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't think they can afford to sit anybody in week 16. They don't sit anybody 3 weeks out. And they technically can't wrap the division up. Think about it. Let's just, and I hate looking ahead like this, but let's just pretend. Cowboys go 11-3 in there, and they are 13-1. They lose to the Cowboys, they fall to 13-2. Dallas goes to 12-3. There's 2 games left. They lose those 2 games. Let's just say they do. They're 13-4. And then Dallas will be 14-3. So they can't afford. Like, that game has to matter as long as the Cowboys continue to win. Now, if the Cowboys slip up to one of these 2 teams, which they should not, but if they do, then all bets are off. They could legitimately say, hey, we'll play a first half here, just keep everybody going. But that game going to matter one way or another. One way or another, it's going to matter. We're 16.5-point favorites against the Texans. Bro, that's college. That's nuts. 205. Send us up out of here. What's up?
What's happening with the Sky?
God I don't know why I don't lock you in. I can't lock you in. But what's good, landlord? You the perfect guy to end this thing. What up with you?
What's going on? You know we gotta take them boys out. We gotta smoke this Matt pack. You know that Matt Ryan's pack in the air. You know how it is.
Yeah,
I got one question for you, sir.
The only pack Matt got is that icy hot pack on his back from all them damn interceptions. What up, man?
You know we had to put them in the air.
Yeah.
But what do a cowboy do to a coat, sir? What is a coat to a cowboy? That ain't nothing but a Cowboys pick, though, Skywalker. You know what I'm saying? We put them in the field. We tell them to do what we want them to do. We whip them around. That's what we do to them.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? We beat the living stuffing out of them. And then, hey, I said it couldn't be a Saturday. I said it couldn't be a Saturday for them boys.
I like
their coach.
Your puns is crazy. That's just so crazy right there. Couldn't be a Saturday. Man, keep killing
it. Couldn't be a Saturday for them coats, man. It couldn't be. You know what I'm saying? They got this little new, what they call it, got the milk behind his ears coats. You know, I know he was paid man and son and stuff like that, but we don't care nothing about it. He ain't got nothing to do with coaching. You know what I'm saying? He come over there talking about teams and then beat them. That was kind of gangster. I give him props, but hey, we a whole different monster over here. You understand?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this film, though, Sky. How about my boy anything but bland?
Man.
Come on now.
Man,
come on now.
That might be the first person I have to look because you know his interceptions, his ball skills, the way he attacks the rock. Like I don't think you can deny that that facet of his game by kind of just singling him out to one thing. I think they should take a look at him outside. And maybe that's just me being a fan of a particular part of his game and just wanting to see him out there. But what you think about that, landlord? Do you think they should give him a shot on the boundary?
Guys, I've been on the top of the I'm standing on top of the table for Bland since the beginning of the year, since preseason. Like this boy,
he won me over at camp. Like, yeah.
He's smooth with his technique, man. One thing about a corner, you need confidence, and you could tell the only way you can be confident if you comfortable with your technique. If you ain't confident, you gonna get smoked as a corner. Like that's just everybody knows that. He trusts his speed. He don't panic when the ball in the air. Actually, he's aggressive when the ball in the air. Like, that's what you want from a corner. Like, most corners get scared when the ball in the air. Like, you know, I'm a wide receiver. I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, quarterbacks and wide receivers, we know corners can't catch, really. Like, if you can catch, more than likely you'll be a receiver. So they threaten the corner like that all the time. Like, that's why quarterbacks ain't too scared to throw the ball at them like that most of the time. Like players like Trayvon Diggs, that's an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? It don't really happen that much. But Bland putting his foot in the dirt and attacking the ball in the air as a rookie, man, get out of here.
And think about it, bro.
Nice, man.
If you got two guys that attack the rock like that on the outside, you funnel everything inside. You can now scheme to things underneath a little bit better because for whatever reason we weren't scheming to help Anthony Brown over top. So give me a guy who at least is going to attack that rock. Like AB this year, bro. You know when you hoop and the ball, you know somebody shoots the rock and it hits the bottom of the rim and you underneath the rim and you go like this. You know you can't see me, but you jump in to make sure it don't hit you in the face. That's how Anthony Brown plays the deep ball. He like this all the time where Deron Bland or Trayvon Diggs, they pushing dudes out the way to get the rock. And I just can't deny that fact. And teams are going to continue to try. All right, AB's out. I saw what Kelvin Joseph can do when the ball's in the air. And they like, all right, I ain't scared of that. So I would definitely give it a shot. If not, somebody need to have a real conversation with Kelvin Joseph and figure out a way to get his confidence back so he can play the ball better in there.
Yeah, it's all about confidence. And you remember what the first matchup I said when I called you the other day, Scott? Yeah. To be fair, the first matchup I said about that boy Alex Pierce and Anthony Brown. That's what I said I was concerned with. And that boy tore us up. It was him and Jonathan Taylor that made any plays for Indy. It wasn't nobody but them two. And he almost had 100 yards on us, man. I liked that boy out the draft.
But he wasn't anything particularly special. It's just mouse in the house, right? Like you pick on the guy who's the mouse in the house. And every week we go, and me and Jesse joke about it every time we do this segment on the show. We be like, well, we know who our mouse in the house is. And it feels like every week, every team says, You just run deep, close my eyes, YOLO. I know you'll go get it. Darius Slayton, Christian Watson,
YOLO
Alec Pierce.
day.
You know, what's the cat's name in Tampa? Julio Jones. Like, this has just been happening all year. Deep balls and Anthony Brown, you know, just has been money, really. It's crazy because deep balls are supposed to be
fair,
you know, your low percentage throws. Those are high percent throws against him.
Yeah. Yeah, they eating them up on them. But to be fair, that throw right there in particular was kind of like back shoulder, but it ain't no excuse for Anthony Brown.
That, bro.
It's been killing him all year, though. It's been killing him all year, though.
I don't give a damn. Back shoulder YOLO ball, bro? Nah, you had time to find that rock. You just don't got the awareness and ball skills to do it.
Yeah, so, but this last thing before I go, man, that boy Bland, don't get caught up in just the interceptions, because, you know, he stopped the 2-point conversion, too. He coming up making tackles, too. Yeah. This boy is a complete player, man. I was seeing this same stuff in preseason, but you know what the hater said? Oh, this just preseason. Oh, this just preseason. Bro, preseason is very, very important for these players. They going to play their heart out, so they go for anybody out there. They trying to earn jobs. You know what I'm saying? They are trying to earn a spot.
You got to adjust your lens. And the tape on Bland in the preseason was more about his traits and his skills, less than about the people he was playing against. You know, I get you're going to go up against better competition in the regular season, but when you watched him in camp, when you watched him in preseason, you couldn't deny that his skills and his traits were translating to the NFL. The game wasn't too big for him. And that's why I thought he leaped Kelvin Joseph on the depth chart. And a lot of people were arguing.
I was just about to say, he had the best preseason, didn't he? And you know, he skipped the line. He skipped the left line on all them corners. You know, he skipped the left line on all of them.
And he had a better camp too. I mean, at least you know, I watched about 2 weeks or some change worth of practices, and it's so crazy. Kelvin Joseph is struggling in the red zone this year, and guess where he struggled in the red zone, or guess where he struggled in camp? It was the red zone. You know, they were picking on Kelvin Joseph down there in Cali, and they came back home and they picked on his ass down there at the Star. And I just was like, man, this is just not his game. Maybe in between the 20s, he's a bit better because he can attack a little bit more. He can play off and use his speed. But for whatever reason, man, you get some size on him, and it hasn't been well. So you're talking about training camp, right? They got him, and now you're seeing in the season, guys are just kind of bodying Kelvin Joseph. So, you know, give him a shot, because, you know, cornerbacks gotta make mistakes and then bounce back. It's football. It's a passing league. These things are going to happen. But I don't know, man. I think you got your fix there in house, and it ain't number one.
I take him. We ain't got many options. See, they ain't even looking Nayshawn right way. they ain't even looking his way in his direction.
I know, I feel bad. I didn't even bring him
up. Because of preseason, Sky. He had a terrible preseason. We was rushing this boy to sleep. We was roasting him.
Yeah.
Everybody, the whole Cowboy Nation, every preseason, we were like, Nation, right. He was getting cooked. So now they don't even look in his direction. We probably should have took it a little easier on the boy.
Somebody asked me.
I ain't even looking in his direction.
Somebody asked me about Nation Wright. They said, do you think that the Cowboys should use a package in the red zone for Nation Wright because he's 6'4"? And part of me want to say yeah, but I'm like, did you watch preseason? That dude, for whatever reason, couldn't use his 6'4" body.
He was getting head tossed. Yeah, he was getting caught all over his head, bro. Like, it wasn't like he was just getting beat like from a slant or something. He was getting caught over.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. And then if Nation, again, I said it's about Kelvin too. If Nation and Kelvin aren't putting heat on Anthony Brown this year, then something in the film room or something on practice field is not adding up.
Yeah. It seemed like they just can't overthrow Brown. I don't know what it was, but now, hey, it's their time to shine. They the best we got now.
Indeed.
We finna see. Nation probably gonna get a little reps too.
He gonna be called up, that's for sure. It would be real crazy if Sheffield jumps him. That'd be nuts. But yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you, landlord. Let them know where they can find your work.
Already, man. Landlord from Alabama with the same handle on all social media, man. I appreciate you, Scott.
Yes, sir. Landlord from Alabama with the same handle. I love that. That's dope. Oh, man. Good conversation as always with Landlord. I'm definitely as excited as he is about DaRon Bland. I am I'm not gonna lie, the excitement level is not there for KJ, for Kelvin Joseph, but the intrigue is. I am very much interested and intrigued to see him get a full slate, because now he'll start to kind of get a rhythm, get a bead and a feel on said quarterback or said scheme or said receiver or whatever throughout a game, as opposed to kind of being sprinkled in there. And maybe that's what he needs. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I ain't going to fake the funk. Y'all know I can't do that. And this is even with the guys who I do like. If I see that there's a consistent negative impact that they're having, I can't come on here and fake it. The excitement level for Kelvin has to be earned now. It has to be earned. It is what it is. Toxic said, Sky, was that AB's last game in Dallas? I got a feeling they're going to bring him back, because he has an extra. Oh, no. No, that's his last game. Yeah. I thought it was him who had the extra year. It was actually Jay Lou. Am I mistaken? Jay Lou has that extra year, right? Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's the last one. I think they'll attack the draft cornerback early at some point. Let me get to these super chats and I'll get back to the actual chat, and we get up out of here, man. Good stuff today.
Super chat.
Shout out to Marquise, oozing toxicity. Marquise. Final score: Cowboys Sam Williams. Cowboys Sam Williams. Colts Amari Cooper. Let that sink in, Cowboys Nation. Hashtag Lions sleep outside. Sky from Dubai. We coming for you. I ain't gonna say that. And UNLV. Appreciate you, Marquise. B Wee was goody.
Super chat.
B Wee said, we aren't the same old Cowboys. Same old Cowboys never get going and lose that game last night. Doesn't mean we win in the Super Bowl, but we damn sure one of the contenders. I'm glad you did end it that way, because I think there is separate conversations to have. I don't think this is the same team as last year. I do think this is a different team. That does not mean them being different is going to mean a Super Bowl or a run in the playoffs. But I don't know how you can watch this year's squad and say it's the same team as last year. It's not, for a multitude of reasons, and I brought this up plenty of times. One, they're hitting their stride to end the season. Last year, they regressed to end the season. Teams figured them out, and they got punched in the mouth, and they didn't have a counter. They're doing the punching and making teams have to counter, and they hit the reset button at the perfect time, right? They've got wins over quality opponents. Last year, you can argue they weren't really beating these quality opponents. I'm not saying the Colts is a quality opponent, but when you beat the Vikings, when you beat the Cincinnati Bengals, at the beginning of the year, no one knew that the Rams were going to be this bad, but the Super Bowl champions on the road, although it was like a home game, you take, what's your backup quarterback? Like, these are quality wins, in my opinion, and now they have the opportunity to get some more quality wins to end the season. I do think this is a different team. Doesn't mean this is going to have a different outcome. That's going to go over some miserable, toxic people's heads here. Different team doesn't mean different outcome. That's all I'm saying to the miserable, toxic people. JR, appreciate you, bro.
Super chat.
He says, to be honest, I'm glad Joseph will get some real reps before December 24th. He brings physicality. We're missing, I guess you mean at corner. Solid dub, Cowboys Nation. JR, Deron Bland is very physical. But I know what you mean. He's a more physical guy than Anthony Brown. My problem is he better with the deep balls? We gonna see, because he ain't been better in the red zone. Been a struggle for him, man. And that goes all the way back to training camp. But he's going to get an opportunity to get in the groove here, man. That's all we can do. Wait and see. Ain't nobody out there that you can get. And then appreciate you, Miss Lamitra.
Super chat.
For the $1 donation. Close these up and see if Toxic came at my neck. It was very direct. Coming straight at you, Toxic Tom. Because you're like me. When I hear the word Super Bowl, I kind of get like, hey, let's just win this next week. Let's win 2 playoff games, man. Let's win a play, like, because of the situation with the Cowboys. But anybody says, yeah, man, this team different. Toxic Tom's like, ugh.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
You hate it. I think you can have different conversations, though, about that. I do. This is the same Colts team that had Philly pinned against the wall 2 weeks ago. Yep. That's why I'm not tripping about how this game played out. I came on here all week last week and said, hey, this is a respectable defense, man. Gus Bradley, listen, don't get it twisted. Jeff Saturday, Frank Wright's out, Jeff Saturday's in. They got the water boy calling the plays offensively, and their offense is trash. That ain't the case on the defense side of the ball. That's a respectable unit. So if you expecting to come out here and drop 40 on them in the first half, miss me with that. They're going to have to earn it. It's actually why I had to score lower when I predicted it in the post game. But then when it all is said and done, and you match up how this offense performed against other offenses, if you're coming out of this game ho-hum, I say, well, go watch what the coach did to the other offenses. Just go watch. I think you feel a little bit better. If 54-19 don't make you feel a little bit better, then go do a little bit more digging, and I think you come back like, I'm cool. A team that routinely holds opposing running games to 3.8 yards per carry, you rush for over 200 yards. Both of your backs went off on these boys. Your third string came in there and did his thing. A team that has 3 or 4 different players with 4 sacks, Yannick Ngakoue, DeForest Buckner, they had 1 sack. I thought your offensive line in first kind of viewing played pretty solid. Shout out to Tyler Smith. I thought he did good. I thought he did good against Yannick Ngakoue. We'll go back and we'll look, but this defense made life tough for other teams. And your Cowboys, it was tough for a little bit. Then the cream rose to the top. Muslim Scott. Mike Waits, AB got speed. He does have speed, just doesn't have ball awareness this year for whatever reason. 50 briskets. Go Cowboys, John Jones. Will Anthony, the coach defense was legit. Yeah. You know, I'm not here to hear. I don't watch the networks, whatever, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a certain someone or someones that comes out and try to diminish this, which is bogus to me. Absolutely would be crazy. Like, the game is 60 minutes for a reason. We've seen teams with people that have quarterbacks that they like more than this said quarterback blow multiple games in the second half. Multiple up double digits. And I'm talking about the Baltimore Ravens. Yep, talking about. They've had 4 losses this year when they've had double-digit leads in the fourth quarter. I don't hear anybody talking about that. But there's people that get down on a 54-19 victory. There's people that are still down on an offense that has been absolutely firing since Dak Prescott's return. I'll get off my high horse. It's just mind-boggling to me, man. It's mind-boggling to me. Good stuff today. Yeah, they dropped 50 piece by not being on top of their game. It's crazy. Good stuff today, man. I appreciate y'all. A good Monday, Victory Monday reaction over reaction. I know most shows do reaction over. I got to start doing overreaction stuff. I think that's fun. But I like to hear from y'all Mondays. Tomorrow, come on back. We will be looking at the film. I should be getting here. I'm going to go check here soon. I might have it now. That'll be a fun one. Still not sure what side of the ball I want to do because so many turnovers. I might want to review those. CD Lamb balled out. Offensive line. We'll take a look. We usually do offense. So maybe we'll take a look at the offense and maybe we'll do defense Wednesday. But we got a really good week lined up. Next week, get the Titans. We'll discuss them later in the week. It is what it is with them. They're next up. Who's next? They're next. Later on tonight, Mauricio Rodriguez will be back on the channel. Make sure y'all do me a favor. It's free. Hit the like button, support. If you're new, you enjoyed this. We had about 800 or so up in here from Facebook and YouTube. Man, y'all the mother.
Bomb Squad!
Y'all are the best. If you want to be a part of the community from a chat standpoint, you got to subscribe, though. That's the way to do it. If you don't want to involve yourself with the chat, cool. You can still call in every single week to the Pulse in the Nation hotline presented by the Cochran Firm. Shout out to Boston Scientific. Shout out to DFW Turf Ticker, where you can find me right there on Twitter at Skywalker Steel. Make sure y'all come through on Twitter. I'm always talking to the fans there. Hope y'all enjoyed this thing here. Tomorrow I will be back in the morning, but later on, me and Voss going to celebrate over on the Volume on the Voss Lombardi live show. Always fun. You know he's going to have an opening monologue, and I love his opening monologues. Then I'll come in and we'll enjoy it. So make sure y'all swing over there on the Volume or Voss Lombardi side, and we're going to have a good time. With that said, I'm hit this button. 16 points is crazy. Enjoy it, Cowboys Nation. Your team is sitting at 9-3. Your team is peaking in December. Your team dropped 54. 24 hours. That's what we do. Either you enjoy it for 24 or you're miserable for 24. But then we move on. And we'll do that tomorrow. I love y'all. We out. Peace. Now peace.